Now, to give you some background, where I'm coming from, I set up the British Constitution Group about 3 years ago, approached some other people in the network, as it were, who were active and involved with their own groups, and put forward a proposition that the only way that we were going to win back our country was if we put down a foundation which people can understand and buy into, which is the rule of law constitution. Now that seems to be working up to a point. We've got people who are apathetic, fast asleep, don't understand, don't care, so on and so forth, but they will care. At some point the penny is going to drop, particularly when they start introducing the carbon taxes. Now, does everybody in this room understand the carbon taxes and what's coming down? If you don't understand, put your hands up and I'll explain it. Okay. Right. I think it's important because this is an important process. They are introducing regulations all the time through international treaties. Now what that means is a group of people go and meet in Europe somewhere or in South America or South Africa somewhere, and they come up with all these rules and regulations. Those rules and regulations then apply to us, not by our council, but by as I say, these international treaties. Now they're working on the carbon tax and trying to convince the whole world that we're killing our planet as a consequence of carbon, global warming, which is complete nonsense. Okay, anybody does the slightest bit of homework will quickly work out that it's a complete scam. This plant was much hotter. In fact, in England or in the United Kingdom, they used to grow grapes way back when the Romans were here. And so the whole global warming thing is a scam. We know that Mars is warming up. That must be the four-wheel drives on Mars that are doing the damage there. But we know basically that they need that scam in order to assert their carbon taxes. Now, what a carbon tax will be is every man, woman and child on this planet will be given an allowance, a carbon allowance. And if you exceed that carbon allowance, you'll get a bill. Now, the numbers I'm going to give you are not absolutely factual, but they're just an indication so you can understand it. So you will be given, for example, 4 tons of carbon allowance per annum. And when you measure your home, count the number of people in the home, they will divide the carbon tax or the carbon usage your home uses between you. If you then have a large vehicle, that will be so many carbon tax rates. And then you go into, if you go on a holiday, that will be carbon tax. That will be so much off your rate. So you go from 4 tons, your house will be a ton, your cars will be another ton, and then your travel will be another half ton, whatever. And the tuning that you buy will have a carbon rating, etc., etc. So you'll find that probably the first year they introduce it, you'll be well within your 4 tons. But then they will bring it down to 3 tons, and you'll be struggling. And then down to 2 tons, and you'll find that you just cannot live in your own and have a holiday on that tonnage. So you'll then go up to the bank, and you'll have a card, and you'll be required to buy the extra carbon allowance that you need to live your life normally. And the first year it costs you £100, and then it'll be £500, and 1,000, and 2,000, 3,000. They will have you on a treadmill permanently. And you can't vote the people out of office that are implementing these taxes because it's a United Nations. So this is coming to us in the future, or on the background of the, if you like, the argument that we are destroying our planet through global warming and mistakes and nonsense. We decided that we were going to go into lawful rebellion. How many people in this room have heard of lawful rebellion? All right. Just to give you a background of the basic format, Magna Carta provides under Article 61 that if our rulers do not obey the rule of law, then we have a right to go into lawful rebellion, and that's what we've declared ourselves in. What we're trying to do is we're trying to pass the message across the country to get as many people on board as possible that the only way to deal with this issue is to take back control ourselves. Our politicians are liars and crooks. Our justice system is corrupt. The police don't understand the law. We have tried every which way to get these people to do the right thing, and they're not interested in the right thing because they're being bought. Okay. So the system of corruption has got to the point that we need another revolution, a rebellion, and we need to reassert our constitution and the rule of law. As I say to people, it's not complicated. What we need is numbers, numbers, numbers. It's all about numbers. So I'm pleased there's a large number of people here tonight. For those people who are local, then pass the word. We're having a meeting here every month. We're now setting up meetings in Widnes and Liverpool and Manchester. We need to, attend those as well as we can. Build those numbers. If each region is building its numbers, and then every so often we all come together in a single location. We have a big rally. Tell your family, tell your friends, talk about the Constitution and the rule of law. We all have a lot of other information as well. We all know about, some of us are familiar with chemtrails and fluoride and all the rest of it. That's guaranteed to switch people off. So talk about the Constitution and the rule of law. Most people do not know what our Constitution is, and it's not complicated. It's made up of a number of written documents, Bill of Rights, Magna Carta, Coronation Oath, etc., plus just the traditions that we have. One of the most important traditions that we have in this country is that we govern ourselves. No politician on this planet has the right to tell us that we're going to be governed by somebody else without our consent, and that's effectively what's happened. The Lisbon Treaty was the creation of a new constitution, which they would happily claim is now overriding our own constitution, which of course is an act of treason. So our politicians, by virtue of voting for the Lisbon Treaty, have committed an act of treason. When we go to courts and try and get the judges to, if you like, uphold the law, uphold our constitution, they just ignore it. They just laugh at it. So this is not my personal view, but some people have suggested that we should be hanging them from a very hard iron tree. And as I said, I think the short tree will do good. Okay. All right, so
rope is recyclable though. You can use it many times.
Council tax is the issue where I decided that.
Say something. I'm really sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but I am a little bit concerned that you provided all this information, which is brilliant, and people need access to this information. Absolutely, and we've got to be sharing freely and widely. What I'm concerned about is that you are actually prescribing the solutions, rather than letting people actually digest the information and come to their own conclusions. So I don't think you're quite giving enough credit to how absolutely brilliant people are, and the people in
All right, well, Kaz, I accept that. Let's not.
Do you know where I'm coming from now?
Yeah. Let's not have the debate now. Let me get this out of the way, and then we'll have the conversation a bit later. Because I appreciate and fully respect each to their own. My view is that we have spent a long time talking about the problems, and we don't have the solutions. So I've taken on board what I believe is my responsibility is to try and get a solution underway. And the solution is.
I have no problem with solutions.
No,
It's just
okay.
there are many, that's all.
Okay, of course there are. And the tree is one of them. Okay. All right. So to give you a bit of background, under lawful rebellion, there's no obligation for me to lawfully pay my taxes. Okay. So I wrote to the council tax and said that if they well, actually, before I go on, let's just ask this question: how many people in this room are familiar with legal fiction?
Yeah.
How many people in this room are not familiar with legal fiction? Okay. So
You will be before you go on tonight.
All right. I'm not going to drift onto the legal fiction because that's a distraction. But
No, we'll sort in a break.
sure, yeah. There's a lot that we need to know vis-a-vis the legal fiction and the council tax. I'm just going to go hit on to the council tax and explain where I'm at and where I believe this whole process is going. Explain how the council works and so on and so forth. I challenged the council on the basis of their council tax is unlawful, and they would not reply to my letter. So I said, answer these questions, and I'm happy to pay my council tax, providing it's lawful. You know when something's wrong when you ask a simple question and they refuse to give an answer. Okay, they're evasive, they ignore you, they're a rule and a law unto themselves, and that's the problem that we've got. They just simply say, we don't care what you think, this is what we're and that's where we're at the moment. So we went to court, and of course I've been into court a number of times, and the issue is always you ask the magistrates a question and they shout you down, ignore you, and so on and so forth. So if you're looking at starting on this whole path of arguing against the council tax, not only do I encourage you, I insist it's essential that everyone stop paying their council tax and let them take you to court, and let's bog the courts down. If 2 or 3 people are in the court every week challenging the council tax, the system becomes a blind hole. So just say you're not paying a council tax, and we will keep them for months. It took them 3 years to get to the next stage with me. They've got to the point now where they're just literally trying to steamroll us, and by virtue of that, they're exposing themselves. I don't mean literally, and then exposing themselves to and liars that they all are. Okay. So let's look at the process that they go through. They send you a summons when you don't pay a council tax, and they invite you to go to the court. The process in the court, we can go through that some of the time, but there is a procedure that you can go through to if you like, to assert your authority in the court. They ignore everything you say, and they just issue a liability order. But they're actually breaking the law, because what it says in their own statutes, and this is statute as opposed to common law, they say that they're supposed to lay a complaint. So what the council is supposed to do, it's supposed to actually go to the court and say that this guy has not paid his council tax, yeah, and that we would like a judge to issue a summons to that individual to appear in the court, and therefore they can have a hearing. They don't do that. They don't lay the complaint in the first place. What the council does is the council itself issues a summons. On the top of a summons, you'll see it says the name of the court. In my case, it was the Wirral Magistrates Court. Now, that Wirral Magistrates Court document is produced by the council. That is passing off, it's unlawful. In the court, when challenged and brought before the notice of the magistrates and even the judges just say, well, that's for you to sort out. We don't care. They're defying the law.
Sorry, would that mean that the council should be taking this court through county court, not the magistrates court?
No, it should go through the magistrates court.
Okay,
it's just that the process is they should lay a complaint. I mean, I went into court the day before my hearing, and I said, can I have all the documents that have been laid by the council? And the legal advisor said, well, they haven't laid any documents. I said, all right, that's interesting. Okay. So the next day in court, the same legal advisor, I asked him, could you please tell this court what documents were laid with the court prior to this hearing? And he said, not. I said, well, that's not lawful. It says in the statute what we're supposed to do. So what? So this is a classic example of how they're breaking the law. We then asked the Wirral Council representative to explain what the document was, and she said it's a summons. I said, where's it produced? And she said it was produced in the council office. I said, there's a council report there. And she wouldn't answer the question. She walked off the stand because she knew she was in court. And I asked the magistrate to ask her to get back on the stand because I hadn't finished. And she said, no, I'm not going to do that. So it's just a farce. It's just a farce. So we got to a position where these people are in control. We're being governed by a dictatorship, effectively. We have a police state in effect already. The police think that they can rule and rule over us. The police think they've got all sorts of authority they don't have. And if we don't stop them, it's going to get worse.